approve using example motion number 1 with conditions. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Opposed, like sign. Motion carries unanimously. Regular agenda, John G. Harper, requesting an administrative appeal of the staff decision 1069 Edgewater Circle. Josh?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And if you can have this report on your Mr. Chairman, as you said, this is an appeal of the staff determination for his property at 1069 Edgewater Circle with the Gallatin address. Zone rural residential. This lot is lower, it's smaller than the county current minimum lot size. The rural residential zone it is 0.7 acres. The current minimum lot size is 0.92 acres. Property owner John G. Harper. What's being requested is that the request to appeal staff determination regarding county requirements at Chapter 11, Section 1101, Subsection K of the County Zoning Resolution related to encroachment of an addition to a primary structure within a front yard setback. So what this is there's a conflict between what's required by the subdivision plan, which requires a greater front yard setback than what is required by or allowed by the current zoning. This has come up in the past. I think probably a few years ago was the last time we were operating under a different zoning code. I don't know exactly what the outcome was. It may have been a different situation. As much as anything, the staff, we're appreciative that this is on the agenda to get some clarity on this. Mr. Chairman, as you know, this is something that comes up a lot on old subdivision plats. They'll have very large front yard setbacks. Usually those are recorded back before any zoning was offered in the county. And so there's a conflict there between those old plats and what our zoning will require today, which is usually a 40-foot front yard setback would be allowable. The subdivision plat that was approved by the planning commission back in the day, conflict with that. And so we want a little guidance as well from the board if possible how to handle these in the future with this request. Attorney property owners were notified by certified mail, and this item was advertised in the Gallatin News on September 29th, 2023. So this is an aerial photo. So this is the subject property here. You see the existing home. They're proposing to do an addition to that house. I'll show you a little bit more about the plat, what it shows, and the plot plan and all that. But this is the public notice that was placed in the Gallatin News, and here's your standard. So this all comes back to a subdivision plat recorded back in 1962 for this development. It was Station Camp Landing was the name of the development. That my assumption is that it was approved by the Sumner County Planning Commission, such as it was back in 1962. I don't know exactly how things operated back then, but that would be our understanding is that it was approved as a subdivision plat at that time. Just barely. This is the lot, the subject property here that the house sits on. And you'll see that there's the setbacks on these old plats are very interesting, and they're variable. And so a lot of times it was to make sure the houses could see the lake or that they were positioned in a certain way in the neighborhood. There were no real safety requirements back then, so you could do that a lot more easily than you can today. But there's a 78-foot front yard setback here on this lot line. I believe this other one was 75. And so effectively there's basically like a 75-foot front yard setback here on the subdivision plat. The plot plan that was submitted by the applicant here, a little bit hard to read, but I think I kind of zoomed in. There we go. Might be difficult to read, but this is the addition to the home that they're proposing right here. And you see it's 52 feet from the edge of the right of way. And so it'll be within that setback on the subdivision plat, which will be back in here. But it will be well within zoning setback, which will be right in here. So our current zoning code says in the rural residential zone, front yard setback is 40 feet. And then we did have a non-conforming chapter in our zoning code that specifically discusses lots that predate zoning that don't meet our current requirements, how we handle those. What it says is for lots that have been platted in accordance with the Sumner County subdivision regulations, the setback shall be covered by that noted on the subdivision plat. And so what the plat says is 78 and 75 feet is that front yard setback. So that was the basis for the staff determination. The zoning compliance form was turned in, they just told us what they were wanting to do, and they provided a site plan. Sure, this is where we love now that it didn't meet zoning requirements. And their administrative appeals application, what they're saying is they're requested to be allowed to follow the setback requirements for Sumner County instead of the recorded plat setbacks from 1964 in order to put an attached garage there. It's the only place they have to put it. They say the septic and the utilities. And that's why they're requesting the front setback change. House is 100 foot from the front lot line, et cetera, et cetera. And so the property owners are here in attendance, which can explain their request a little better than I can, I'm sure. This is the photo, one of the photos we went out and took a few days ago of the subject property. So you can see the addition of the home would be right out in here. There's another angle of it so that addition to the home will be right in this area. One quick point to be made too, I didn't get a good snapshot of the neighborhood, but you can see there are some instances in the neighborhood, a couple houses down where something similar has been done in the past. Didn't have time to inquire as to the permanent status of this, whether that was approved or got a variance or what the situation might have been with this one, but there are structures in existence today that it appears have done similar things to what these offshore roads would do. So, Mr. Chairman, there's an example motion there to uphold that staff determination or overturn it. Again, the property owners are here in attendance tonight if the board has any questions.
Does anyone sign up? Mr. Harper, would you care to come forward and add anything to what we've been talking?
No, I think you explained it quite well.
Well, can we go back to
If you will, state your name and address.
Tiffany Harper.
and I'm John Harper.
Yes, sir.
So we are the owners of 1069 Edgewater Circle, and we're asking for the administrative appeal for this property to put a garage in front due to the fact that we have septic in the back. There's no record of septic, so I don't know where it's at, or I don't want to touch anything that's not broken, let's not fix it. So that's why we decided to put it in the front of the house, because we saw the neighbor 2 doors down, and then going the other direction, I think on lot 26, they also have a front porch or some dwelling out in the front.
So we put the addition, well, we had the architect addition as far back as he could without disturbing the utilities. The electric is gonna have to be moved, but the gas and everything else that goes in that side. So we had to put it as back as he could, but there's only so much you can do.
Does any member of the board have any questions on the question?
Okay.
Would anyone else in the audience to speak to this complaint? Seeing no one, I will close the public hearing. Josh, I did notice, okay, I want to clarify. I surveyed lot 2 doors back several years ago. And I pulled that file this afternoon just to see what I did and so forth. But in the file, I found the restrictions for this development that expired in 1992, and they had a written expiration date on there, 92, 94, something like that. I'm not aware of anyone extending those restrictions. And also, I would point out, on the next subdivision down on Jefferson Bay Drive, we've had 2 or 3 of these exact same issues come up. And again, those restrictions are expired and were not extended. And this board adhered to the county front septic plan. And I remember one of them specifically because it makes road land sense. So I was a little involved in that. But anyway, this happens all over the county. I know I do a lot of work in Metro Nashville, and the same thing is happening there, many cases. And Metro does it a couple of different ways, but what they do is doing it for many of these HBR plans, where they'll make average the front average setbacks of the homes before they'll provide a permit, but we don't have that rule here. But I say all that to say that I think the request is in keeping with all the actions that I can remember this board to override the staff comments just because of history. But I do know that the restrictions are expired on this. Discussion.
Was that not before the latest update from that was implemented last year?
The zoning code update, it's been updated periodically, about once a year something gets tweaked, changed. There was a pretty comprehensive rewrite that was done back in 2020 that replaced the old zoning code that had been in place since '73, and crossed out pages and marked through lines and all that. So that was the big rewrite that was done was in 2020. This subdivision plat predates any zoning whatsoever in Sumner County. So it was plat approved in 1962. The zoning was created in Sumner County in July of 1973.
Yeah, I was just kind of follow up to what you were saying, Chairman. I know we've had some of these, it seems like. I don't know if it was after this particular zoning code was updated or not. That was my question.
Right, it's been a while. I remember one similar situation coming up, and I'm pretty sure it was under the old zoning code a number of years ago. I can't swear to that, but I know this question has come at least once before, and it's been a while ago though. But the precedent, if I recall right, is that the board at that time chose to go with what the zoning allowed rather than what the plan allowed, if I'm remembering correctly. Again, I have no data to back that up. I'm just going off my memory.
Discussion, a motion. Looking for a motion.
Mr. Chairman, to clarify, and I say this every time we have one of these things, the staff does not get its feelings hurt if we are overturned on anything, or if we're upheld. We don't care about that either, to be honest with you. On items like this, these kinds of things are very helpful to the staff to help us understand how the Board of Zoning Appeals wants us to implement the code. And so whichever direction that the BZA wants to go with this, staff has no qualms one way or another, just to clarify that.
And Chair, I understand, I'm completely. It's easier and better for the staff if they clarify it. And let us give them direction. It sure takes a heat off of them. So I totally support the request. Just don't agree with the decision.
Yeah, I guess what I'm struggling with, it seems reasonable, the request, but the way example motion number 2 is written is, that it does not meet county zoning requirements, or it does meet zoning requirements, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think I probably worded that a little wonky, to be honest with you. I think what example motion number 1 is intended to say is, basically we found that it did not meet zoning requirements. And so you either have the option to agree with that, or to overturn that and to, overturn that staff determination and to conclude that what they're wanting to do does meet county zoning requirements. I didn't word that as well as I could have there at number 2. I'm sorry about that. But essentially, overturning the staff determination would be to say that what they're proposing to do is okay. And we would issue the permits tomorrow if they came in.
Well, in that case, I'll make a motion that I think what they're proposing to do is okay and acceptable, mainly because it meets the setback requirements for the zoning. I would make a motion that we, I don't know if it's motion number 2 or not. I guess the motion is to say that I think it's acceptable what they're proposing to do, the setback that they've got shown is acceptable because it meets the standard setback.
I believe that my interpretation of what you just said is that would be to overturn the staff's decision and to support the applicant's application, which is
That's correct. Yes, sir.
We have a motion and a second to overturn the initial staff determination and say that this request meets county zoning requirements. Discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, like sign. Motion carries unanimously. Any other business before this vote?
No, sir, I apologize for that.
Motion to adjourn. So moved and second. All in favor say aye. Aye. We're adjourned.